Is the most powerful substance that the human being has ever developed for influencing the mind. I've used the comparison of nuclear energy or a fissionable material. I think that in the right hands and with scientific and disciplined and hopeful people, it will bring about changes.
Most people come back from an LSD trip and they say, there's only one word you can use. Wow.
Timothy Leary had already led a full life before he discovered LSD at age 39. He was born in 1920 and grew up in a suburb of Boston, Massachusetts. Throughout high school, Leary challenged the philosophy, never do that which, if everyone does, will do harm to society.
I don't have any advice for anyone. I'm just simply saying that we're going to be broadcasting our ideas of hope and of confidence and of courage, and we don't say we're right, but God knows we're about ready for a new philosophy.
Leary attended college at the West Point Military Academy in New York. This elite fraternity oddly became the breeding ground for the man who would become famous for the philosophy, question authority, and think for yourself. After challenging the authority of his superiors, Leary was soon expelled.
I would urge everyone, and that's one of my basic mottos, think for yourself, question authority with your friends, and particularly don't obey authority until you've thought it out and then you decided that way.
After Leary received his PhD in psychology, he accepted a job to teach at Harvard University. Leary was convinced Western psychology had become ineffective because it merely studied human behavior but did nothing to change it.
I see the United States and the human situation like a nervous system. We're all in touch. I think the problem has been that we've gotten out of touch with each other. We've got to use technology to get into close communication.
In the summer of 1960, on a vacation in Mexico, Leary had a life-changing experience. A friend introduced him to what the local Indians called the magic mushrooms. Leary suddenly found the answers he had been looking for. These psychedelic mushrooms had a powerful effect on the mind. He was convinced he had found the key to changing human behavior. Leary returned to Harvard with his research colleague, Dr. Richard Alpert. They had the psychoactive agent in the mushrooms called psilocybin synthesized into a small pill. Leary and Alpert's work at Harvard quickly elevated into an entirely new dimension.
For the last 6 years, I have taken LSD and other such drugs regularly. I consider it a part of my spiritual practice, just like I would go to church once a week. I also consider it part of my scientific work. You can't study microbiological phenomena unless you look through the microscope. So I've used LSD about once a week for the last 6 years.
At Harvard, Leary began research on the effects of psilocybin and LSD with students in his graduate psychology class. He and his students took the drugs together and analyzed the results.
I've probably pushed my nervous system as much as any human being living. I've taken LSD over 500 times, and I've experienced a wide range of these biochemical and neurological possibilities. I think I'm the strongest, sanest person around.
The Harvard administration did not agree. In 1963, Leary was dismissed. It had been a century since Harvard had fired a professor, the last being Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was fired for telling students to leave the church and find their own God. Leary gladly left, claiming that his research was too advanced for the Harvard squares.